Sticking with the school funding theme, there was a Democratic Town Committee meeting in May, and I remember you had announced that the city was going to recoup $5.2 million in state funding for past school building projects. There was a press release that came out from your office a couple weeks later that put that figure at about $3 million. And there's two parts here, right? I mean, I wonder if you can explain the discrepancy in the number, but also your role in obtaining the funding.
Okay, very good question. The reason there was a discrepancy because the first, see, in the state of Connecticut, we pass budgets 2 years at a time, called the biennium. The first year of the biennium was where we recovered the to make the 5.3. We recovered that the first year of the biennium, and then we recovered the 3.2 in the second year of the biennium that equaled 5.3 or 2. Anyway, the check's on the way to New London. And I was able to get that in the budget because the last administration did not have the wherewithal to make a phone call to me except 3 days before the end of the session and said they needed this money. But it took me an hour to get this money into the budget, and it was passed, and the money's on the way to New London. That's how it happened. And it takes a lot more to do that than what people think. It's because you get the relationships with people, you know who to go to, and that's the way it is.
Mr. Soto, do you want to comment?
Yes, please. So I applaud Representative Hewett on getting that money because we need it, right? And we should applaud people when they do a good job, right? If there's something that they did bring back, then we want to applaud that. But I do like the fact that he talked about relationships. So if we look at the General Assembly and the time that Representative Hewett has been there, he's been there for 12 years. And again, I respect that service, and thank you. But we've seen other state representatives that have gone in there after and have risen to leadership in shorter time than Representative Hewett. So whatever the politics are, it doesn't matter. But how does that benefit New London? How does that benefit New London when you're not the committee of a chair after 12 years?
Can I respond?
Yeah, please.
Chris, I've refused 5 chairmanships of committee since I've been in Hartford. Didn't want to be a chairman of a committee. I went from deputy majority leader to deputy majority leader to deputy speaker in 6 years. That is unheard of in Hartford. And now you're saying that why I haven't rose a little higher? Let me tell you what those relationships does. Those relationships are not easy to bond. They're not easy at all. But I was able to do that in the time that I was there in 12 years.
Mr. Soto, 30 seconds for rebuttal.
So again, I love the work that Ernie Hewett did in those first 6 years, but we're at 12 years out now, and are you still the deputy majority leader?
I am the assistant deputy majority leader as we speak. Is that good enough?
That's great.
Now, while I'm on that, I still got some time.
Yeah, you can get 30 seconds to get the last word on this.
Education cost sharing formula in 2004 went from 19 million when I first arrived in Hartford, and is now 25 million, 26 million, almost $26 million. That doesn't happen in a vacuum. When I first started, Isaac Schools funding, and let me tell you something, there is no flavor for charter schools in Hartford. They don't like charter schools. The General Assembly does not like funding them. But I was able to fight to go from $925,000 to $3.8 million in 2016.
Thank you. Next question to Mr. Soto.